How about today? Why don't you identify one area where your child may not be respecting you and ask yourself honestly, okay, where have you been inconsistent?
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Hey, honey.
Hey, hubby.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, I'm pretty excited about our topic today.
Me too.
You know, most parents don't have a kid problem. They have a leadership problem. And would you agree with that?
Yes.
Today we're going to start a 3-part series because this is one of the biggest issues parents are dealing with right now. It's disrespect, it's disobedience, and it's just creating chaos in the home. And so we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to make an attempt here to fix it. So here is the truth that most parents don't want to hear. Kids don't naturally respect authority, but they do respond to it. And if respect is missing, it's because leadership is missing. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some of these points.
Okay.
Okay. So let's talk about some examples of this, right? Because, this is kind of a meaty kind of a topic because it makes such a difference in a home. And I feel like it gets somewhat avoided, but I don't really think it's because parents don't want to lead. I think it has a lot to do with they haven't been taught how to lead, right? Maybe they didn't have it exemplified for themselves as they were growing up. Maybe they see other examples that kind of lack leadership as well, and they just think it's the norm. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes they're questioning themselves whether or not if they're doing the right thing, or if I'm being too harsh, or if I'm doing too much, or will my kid not like me if I'm a little bit stronger or direct? And so, let's just talk about some examples that we've experienced and we've even seen people's experience as well. So like example number 1, just inconsistency. Correct. This is where if you try to correct your kid and they don't follow through, and then you don't follow through, like you kind of threaten, but don't actually follow through. And what happens then is you train your kid that your words don't matter. See, when you do this, your words lose power. And so, the first example that pops in my head is like, hey, you yell at somebody and say, hey, stop doing that, right? And the kid just completely ignores you. And you say, hey, I said stop doing that. And then nothing happens. Again, there's no repercussion. That's a perfect example of just training your child that words don't matter, okay? What are some examples you have?
Well, I think early on, one example that comes to my head right away is I remember when we taught our kids that you don't tell us no. Mm-hmm. And I remember the kids were young, and I asked them, hey, it's time to get going. I need everybody to put on their shoes, and their coats. It's time to go. And they were young, we had 5 kids 4 and under at one point. So 5-year-olds had to help, 4-year-olds had to help, put on your shoes. Mm-hmm. And I remember when the kids saying, no, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Probably about 5-ish, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
It was right around that young age. And I was like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? And they, after that, got disciplined. Yep. And the whole, you could tell some of the kids are looking like, oh no, I wouldn't have said that, Mm-hmm. And right away, discipline was taken because that's just not how it works here. You said no to me. I asked you to do something so we could get going. Mm-hmm. And action was taken right away.
Right. So the example though, specifically with the inconsistency part, it could be if they said, okay, if you said, go put on your shoes, and they said, no, I don't want to. And then you just said, listen, I want you to go put on your shoes. I don't want to.
Or if they run off. How many times do you ask your kids to do something? They're like, no, I don't want to. And then they're hiding in their play area or something or they're thinking it's hide and go seek or something like. I'm not going to chase you around. I asked you to put on your shoes and we're going to get going here. And I'm not going to do this for 30 minutes.
And you're not going to repeat yourself over and over because that's what trains a kid that words don't matter.
That's right.
Right. Okay. What's another one?
I mean, another example, I know as they got older, specifically, we didn't want them touching our phones all the time. So a lot of times Greg and I are doing work on our phones, their messages coming through, whatever the case may be. It's our phone. It's not their phone.
Yeah.
And I remember the kids would, want to touch them, grab them, play a game on them. We didn't give them permission. I'm not saying we didn't ever give them permissions. There's been plenty of times as a mother I have. But they would grab our phone and we would tell them, that's my phone. Please put my phone down.
Yeah.
And we'd say it politely, but clean and clear. We wouldn't mumble our words. We would be like, please don't touch my phone. Put my phone down. That's my phone. And if they were like, no, I just wanted to check something real quick. I want to check for that movie I wanted to watch or that app or something like that. And we'd look at them and be like, I asked you to put my phone down.
Yeah.
And it was very clear of what our expectations were. So we were, and again, we did it wrong. And then here's you and me a few times repeating ourselves. Did you not hear me? Mm-hmm. What part of that was not clean and clear? And we're getting frustrated because we would repeat ourselves. And again, that's inconsistency. And our kids would know, well, on the third time I have to put the phone down. But if mom and dad don't say it 3 times, they don't really mean it.
Yeah. I remember I'd be on my phone and, you and I, we do everything virtually. So we coach, we serve, we connect with people. Right now, I got Man Maker promotion going on. We're building our community. So people are responding and have questions. And I'm working from my phone a lot. And I remember, anytime I'd be like sitting somewhere and I'm on my phone, all of a sudden, Drew's, he'd just kind of like start,
Ellie too. The two of them together.
Just all of a sudden, I got like 2 heads right here. And they're just looking at what I'm doing. And I'm just like, wait, what's happening right now?
I know.
But the thing was, instead of just being like, hey, don't do that or whatever, or getting mad about it, I just remember we had to explain to them, hey, listen, sometimes I'm having conversations on here that aren't for you.
Correct.
And so, I appreciate that you're curious. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I'll let you know if I want you looking at what I'm working on.
Right. Okay? And that kind of went for anything, or computers or anything.
Anything. Yeah. Because it's important, because otherwise, how can we have even conversations and confidence with some of our coaching clients, et cetera, versus everything's just open. So anyway, so it's a lot of that was just consistency, and we've had to stick to that consistency after that. Okay. What's some other ones?
I mean, another one, again, I remember is we went through a season when the kids would be young, and Hunter's kind of dealing with it because she's one of the younger ones now. She
kind of is right now.
Yeah.
This is kind of her season right now.
It is.
Yeah.
And actually, to be honest with you, I don't mind the season because it gives us an opportunity to teach them our standards, you know, and to remind them of what we do in our family. Mm-hmm. But all of them have gone through it where I'd make a meal, put down the meal for them all to eat. And all of a sudden, whether they like the meal or not, they'd get distracted. Oh, somebody would get up and want a toy all of a sudden at the kitchen table. Somebody would, oh my gosh, I think there's a bird outside I want to look at. And they're looking at the window. Or all of a sudden, the dog entertained them and they'd get out of their seats in a meal that would normally take a good, 15, 20 minutes to eat. And sometimes we'd sit and talk and laugh. It's pretty long for a little kid, by the way. Yeah. Would turn into this I'm begging them to sit down to finish their food for 30, 40, 50 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what is happening today? Mm-hmm. And I remember again, it was I would put the timer on the stove timer, the oven. And I would say, hey, you have 15 minutes to finish this meal. And if you get up again, these are the repercussions. Mm-hmm. And if they did, that was the repercussions. Mm-hmm. Because, again, I was tired of repeating myself over and over again. And a fun dinner time would turn into this correction time that nobody could enjoy.
Yeah, and when they were little, and you can only explain so much, it's kind of more of a, hey, this is how this is going to go. And there's repercussions, right? That's when their minds are young and trying to explain, this is why we do this, doesn't make sense. Now at this season for us, though, a lot of our kids, are old enough, our 12 through 17-year-olds at this point. We have this example with, say, a Drews or, one of our kids that they, I'm out in the garage playing golf in the simulator or something, and Drews would just get in his habit of just grabbing food and then bringing it out in the garage and hanging out and then leaving half his food out there or plate on the ping pong table. Sometimes some of his stuff's still on the counter. And so we were trying to actually allow it to a certain extent. But then again, we had to do what? We had to go back and be like, obviously, you're not mature enough to handle this responsibly. So what we are going to do is you're going to sit down at the table or the counter and you're going to eat for however long, and then you get to go outside and do whatever else. But you're not going to do both, right?
Right. I mean, right. And I just think when there's consistency, then you're able to do fun days like that where it's like, hey, it's Friday evening. Everyone wants to eat pizza outside and play some golf, play some ping pong. This is the day for it, guys. Let's all grab, pizza and plates and get outside, And then there's other times like, no, this is the typical what's expected.
I would even say consistency between kids too. We didn't give one kid a different deal and different kids, because then they don't know what's up with that. So, okay. Number two, I would say another critical part is emotional parenting,
That's a good one.
because when parents get overly emotional, meaning like you're yelling or you're reacting, or here's a big one, you're negotiating, right?
Yeah.
What can happen is then a parent loses authority.
So true.
And so it's kind of like, an obvious example probably is a parent yelling across the house, versus calmly walking over and handling it immediately. Like it's important that it's handled right away and that it's handled calmly, right? And this is such an important statement. Authority is calm, weakness is loud.
Yeah.
Parents, write that one down. Authority is calm, weakness is loud. What are some examples on?
I mean, I can think about this. When the kids were really young and stuff like that, I was like that. I was kind of like a yeller. You know what I mean? I'd come through the house and be like, what's going on over here? Who's doing this over here? Who put this over here?
Were your parents like that?
I don't know. I mean, my dad worked, full time. So mom was with us Monday through Friday.
Yeah. They probably were to a certain extent. I know mine were.
I mean, there was only two of us, my brother and I. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe I have no clue.
I just feel like we get a lot of this, from it's what we experienced, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm naturally though a louder voice, so by default. But I'd walk through the house, and before you know it, something would happen, and I'm screaming about something, and the kids, first of all, are running around like chickens with their heads cut off.
Yeah.
Like, oh shoot, she's gonna yell about this. Pick this up. Run here. Do this. Don't do. You know what I mean? It felt like some, weird cartoon, happening, and I just remember this one time, Abby, something had happened. I forget what happened in the house. Like, I think something in the kitchen, something exploded out, or something like a smoothie situation or something exploded. And I'm screaming about this, and Abby was young, and she just kind of was like bent down over like our little bench thing we had by a table. And she was like, I just don't know what to do to make you stop yelling. And I don't know about you parents, but it's one of those moments that you just don't forget. I mean, she was probably, 6 or so at the time, 7. She's now 17. And I just thought to myself, oh my gosh, my kids are like, they're confused. I'm causing this confusion right now. I'm causing emotional stress. I'm yelling. This is not the kind of parent I want to be. This is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so it was just one of those moments that I quickly realized after that evening of, first of all, apologizing, to my kids for my behavior for the day. And number 2, changing it immediately. And for us, one of the ways I changed it is, because we do have so many children, is when I do walk in the room, they are in the house or, whatever, I ask them to all come together. Hey, can you get all your siblings? Let's talk for a minute. And I can quickly go over whatever is going on. If the kitchen looks like there was an explosion, hey guys, who's cleaning this up? I just want to understand what the game plan is today. Or, hey guys, I noticed that everybody's rooms look like a bombs just went off. How are we fixing that today? Or, hey guys, I don't really like that I walked in and saw shoes everywhere and I tripped everywhere.
You're really good about that now. You really do walk in authority, and it's calm. And, you have changed, like from just the knee-jerk reaction, and it takes effort.
Oh yeah, because nobody's perfect. I mean, don't get me wrong. Last week, Ellie did something, and Greg was trying to take a nap on the couch. I mean,
I was like, whoa.
And I started,
what happened?
Getting upset, and I could feel myself to the point. Though I will tell you what I did. Though I started kind of raising my voice again and becoming that person that I don't like to be. And I finally said, I need you to step away and walk away from me.
Yeah, that was smart.
I need you to step away, and I need to step away. And she's 12. And so she stepped into her schoolroom to work on some stuff. And I had to take a breather because I'm just like, I want to be emotionally stable and teach my kids that. Yeah.
Well, as we're wrapping up here, a third point of how parents can lose respect is having that lack of clear standards. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of kids don't know the rules, because parents clearly haven't set them. I remember growing up like that. I remember feeling like, I don't know, I felt like I had to almost test to see what I can and can't do or what I should or shouldn't do. But then all of a sudden you just kind of stepped over a line you didn't know was there, and then you got in trouble. And that's how you learned. You know, it wasn't like you were explained that this is where you stay. It was like, just go explore. But if you mess up, now you're in big doo-doo, right? And so it was kind of weird. So anyways, but this would be an example of not setting clear standards. Would be just telling a kid, hey, listen, you know, when you're with me somewhere, I just want you to be good. Okay, but what's that mean? Like, you know, what's it mean? And it's, you know, for instance, it could be something like, more specifically, a clear standard would be, you know, listen, I'm going to be talking to so and so today.
Right.
So don't interrupt me. Okay? And if you introduce yourself to them, look them in the eyes, you know, shake their hand, say, you know, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. We usually call people, we have our kids call them Mr. whatever, you know, Mr. Greg, Mr. Jackie, that kind of stuff, because we want to show honor, we show respect. But we're very clear, like, and we will remind them multiple times. It's okay, so what did we teach you? You know, when these people come over, when we're going to be there, how are you going to do this? Tell me how you're going to do it. And we always set really, really clear standards. And because of that, people always were like, man, your kids are just so well-mannered, you know? And then our kids would get an identity of being well-mannered, but really it had a lot to do with they're very well prepped.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
With clear standards. So, all right, well, we're out of time on this one, but, you know, a mini challenge for all of you parents out there is, how about today, why don't you identify one area where your child may not be respecting you, and ask yourself honestly, okay, where have you been inconsistent? Don't look at it as judging yourself or feeling bad or shaming yourself, but just a way to improve. You know, we got to have tough conversations in order to actually have big breakthroughs.
That's good.
And so, you know, for the next part, this is a 3-part series. We're going to take some time and break down more real life situations, you know, things like talking back, ignoring, or attitude, and how you parents out there can handle them. So, and also, if you're serious about leading your family, grab the Strong Family Blueprint. We have a link below for that. See you next time. Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.